So welcome to your practice this morning. Though we're probably all a bit over the rain, there is something really nice about doing a yoga practice in the rain, listening to the rain. So maybe that might be just a nice bit of white noise this morning for you. So I invite you, as you come down onto your backs this morning, you're welcome to support yourself any way that you need. You can bring a bolster or pillow or cushion in behind your thighs or knees. You're also welcome to take a bend to your knees and bring the soles of the feet onto your mat if that helps to support your body a little better this morning. As you close your eyes, just take a few moments to arrive in your bodies for your practice today. Just taking a few moments to notice how you're feeling this morning. Checking in with the physical body. Noticing your mind space. Your emotional body, energetic body, and your spiritual body. Just noticing where you are at this morning. And everything that is going on in the world at the moment, locally and internationally, can be quite a heavy feeling, and along with all the recent weather events, it can feel quite contracting. It's almost like a feeling of wanting to protect and cocoon that comes with that heaviness. I'm going to invite you this morning at the start of your practice to feel into a word, and the word is expansive. I just want you to take a moment and think about that word and feel into the word expansive and what that might feel like for you in your body and in your mind space and in the whole of your being. If you were to feel expansive, what would that feel like for you? What would that be? What does that mean to you? Expansive might mean a state of freedom in your physical body, a state of lightness, of spaciousness. Expansive might mean moving out of your comfort zone and expanding into something different. Expansive might mean a spacious state of being, a light state of being. A place where you release and let go of what isn't serving you. Perhaps it's an expansive state of love for you, where you're expanding the quality of love and that beautiful exchange of love into others. What does the word expansive perhaps mean for you today? And that might be different to any other day, but what could that mean to you today? How would that feel in your body today? And if you were to feel expansive, how does that change the way you are in your body right now? Do you start to feel more spacious? Do you begin to make adjustments where you invite in space? If you were to feel expansive in your body, what could you do to support that feeling this morning? I invite you this morning to repeat the mantra to yourself: I am expansive. I am expansive. I am expansive. And maybe you're repeating that mantra 2 or 3 times within your mind space and beginning to feel expansive in every fibre of your being. Whatever that word, whatever meaning that word holds for you, feeling that everywhere, in every cell. I am expansive. Let's begin to take your awareness now to your breath. And what does expansive feel like in your breath this morning? Perhaps it's a slowing down of the inhalation of your breath. Maybe it's even a slowing down of the exhalation. If you were to bring the word expansive into your breath, how would that feel? Can you begin to breathe in an expansive way? A way that is expansive for you. Maybe this morning that's simply just noticing the expansion of the breath down into the diaphragm, down into the belly. Perhaps the expansion of the breath into the side ribs or into the chest. For a few moments, stay here with your breath, being in this very moment with each and every breath. As you continue to be with your breath, I'm going to invite you this morning in your practice to continue to embody this word expansive, whatever that feels like for you and whatever that means for you. I'm going to invite you to embody this quality of expansive in your body, in your mind, with each and every pose that we do. Allow your practice this morning to bring in a sense of lightness and space rather than contraction and heaviness. And for the last few moments here with your breath once more, reminding yourself of your mantra, I am expansive. I am expansive. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed here as you lay on your back and begin to slowly take the arms and stretch them all the way overhead, and take the feet and stretch them all the way towards the front of the room, or the front of your mat, and feel that lengthening in your body. Feel that sense or that quality of expansion from the tips of your fingers all the way down to the tips of your toes. And then let's begin to invite the knees in and give a little hug in here. Little hug in, and as you bring the knees in, you might like to rock a little or make some circles. And even though our body is in this state of contraction, can you still feel expansive in some way here, spacious in some way? From here, you can begin to bring the soles of the feet down onto the mat and take the arms out to the sides, bring the palms to face up. And then lightly let your knees both fall from one side to the other as you come towards some windscreen wipers. This morning, as we move through the practice, we'll be inviting in a few different twists in our practice, which is a really nice way of wringing out. It's almost symbolic if you think of a washcloth, or you're washing the dishes and the cloth is heavy of dirty water, and then you wring the cloth out and all the dirty water releases out of the cloth, creating space then for fresh and clean water. So as we move through our twists today, just inviting in this sort of wringing action where you're wringing out. It could be energetically, it could be physically, and then there's this release, this renewal of space. Let's let the knees fall to one side and let them pause there. Maybe you're turning your head in the opposite direction. And finding here a few beautiful breaths, whatever that is for you this morning. Some really nice, soothing and expansive breaths. And then you can gently turn your head back through center, bring your knees through center and across to the other side. And we'll find the pause in the opposite direction, holding that little twist in the opposite direction. And again, finding a soft and expansive breath. Feeling that expansive quality into the whole of your body. Again, how does that feel for you this morning? What does that quality feel like? And slowly bringing your knees and your head back towards center. You can once more hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug in, maybe a little rocking. From here, we are going to make our way up towards a seated position. So you can rock up or you can take the knees over to the side. You're welcome to sit into any seated position that feels comfortable for you, whether that's cross-legged, you might prefer to sit onto the shins and back into the heels. Maybe you're in a diamond pose with the soles of the feet together and away from the body. Let's bring the hands towards the heart space, lengthening through the spine, and we'll find a little bit of a flow here. So you twist towards the right side of the body and then extend the arms open. And then bring the hands in towards the heart space, and then we'll twist towards the left side. So you can begin to flow a little with your breath here from one side to the other. Perhaps an inhale as you extend the arms open, and then an exhale as you come back in. You may even like to close the eyes if that feels okay for you. The last few flows here, feeling that sense of expansiveness represented in your body here as you extend the arms out. One more time on each side. And then bringing your hands back towards your heart space. You can leave your hands at your heart, or you can rest them onto your thighs for a moment, onto your lap. I invite you just for a few moments to close your eyes in this seated position. And if you were to feel expansive just in this moment of stillness, how does that feel in your body? How does your posture change? What does it feel like in this moment in your physical body to feel expansive? How do things shift for you when you feel expansive? You can begin to blink the eyes open, bring the hands back towards the heart space. I invite you, that feeling that you've cultivated in your body, just in that moment, to continue to carry that through your practice this morning. Let's begin to come into a little bit of a twist flow now. So we'll twist towards the right side, bring the right hand down behind the back, left hand onto opposite thigh. From here, bring the hands back towards your heart space. And then we'll twist towards the left side, and we're going to flow again. So you might begin to once more find a little bit of a flow with your breath here, whatever that might look like for you. Perhaps an inhale to center, and then an exhale to twist. Let's take one more on each side, one more to the right and one more to the left. And then bringing the hands back towards your heart, or you can rest them again onto your thighs or your knees. Softly close the eyes one more time. Remind yourself of your mantra, I am expansive. From here, we'll start to come over onto our hands and knees. Begin to invite in a few little flows here, and sometimes just simply flowing can invite in that feeling of space and lightness through the body. So we're going to begin with some cat-cow to start off with, and we're going to build up from there. So let's start to take a breath in and let the belly soften as you open through the heart space. And then as you exhale, tuck your chin in, press the earth away and open through your back body. Finding your rhythm, finding your flow. Knowing as you move your body, there is no real destination, there's just this feeling that we're cultivating within. This beautiful feeling of being present and expansive. Slowly start to make our way back towards a child's pose. As you do, keep your hands extended forward. From here, we're going to take the hands and walk them over to the right side of the mat and then anchor down into that left hip. So we're really expanding through that left side body. As you hold here, really focusing on that lengthening from the tips of your left fingers all the way down to your left hip, that deep opening through the left side body. And maybe you're even experiencing the breath expanding into the left side ribs now. And then begin to walk your hands through center and over to the left side of your mat now. Anchor down into your right hip. If your forehead isn't quite coming towards the earth and your hips lift a little, that's okay. Or alternatively, you can place a block or something under the forehead. We want to anchor down now into that right hip as we extend forward and open through the right side body. Once more, perhaps you're experiencing the breath into the right side ribs, that beautiful opening into the right side ribs. And then from here, begin to walk your hands back towards center, back towards extended child's pose. We're going to start to find a little bit of a flow here. So from child's pose, we're going to move into cow pose. So our belly is going to soften and we're lifting the gaze. If your hands are a little forward of your shoulders here, that's okay. Normally we've got them straight under, but to allow space for the flow, you can keep the hands in front of the shoulders. So here we're coming into cow pose, and then we're just simply rocking back into child's pose. Inhale to cow pose, and then rocking back into child's pose. And as you rock back to child's pose, there's a little bit of rounding as you sink the hips down towards the heels, so you're getting that cat-cow movement, but with a child's pose instead. Let's take a few more flows like this, just working with your breath in a way that feels really nice, getting that beautiful movement into the spine. You're welcome to stay with this flow between cow pose and child's pose. Another option is to now begin to add downward facing dog. So from our child's pose, we will tuck the toes and press up into a downward facing dog. From a downward facing dog, we're lowering the knees, coming into cow pose. From cow pose, we rock back into child's pose. From child's pose, back towards your downward facing dog. So beginning to find that little flow here, that little flow. And once you find the rhythm in the movement, you might begin to connect the breath. Let's find two more flows like this, two more flows. I'm going to finish the second flow in a child's pose. I'm taking two more flows. And taking a pause in your child's pose, whatever that might look like for you, your arms might be extended forward, they might be alongside of your body. You may even be supporting your forehead with your hands. And just taking a moment, and even though again we're in this contracted state, this beautiful inwards pose, this beautiful child's pose, can you still invite in this quality of expansiveness, of spaciousness? It might simply be within your mind space, maybe in your breath. Let's begin to extend the hands forward again. And we're going to tuck the toes and come up towards a downward facing dog. From here, we're going to take the feet and walk them forward towards the hands at the top of your mat. And allow the head to hang quite heavy here. Let the shoulders relax down. We're going to start to come up through a spinal roll, but as you do, let's brush the hands along the legs as we come up through a spinal roll. Circle the arms as you reach the top. Join your palms and bring them down towards your heart space. We take the same little flow we did as a seated flow before. So with the hands at the heart space, we're opening and expanding out to the right side, and then back in towards center. Inhale as you open towards the left. And then exhale back towards center. Finding your flow here. one more on each side. It's getting quite noisy in the storm now. I don't know if it is at your place, but it is here. We'll bring the hands back towards the heart. You can keep the hands at the heart or bring them alongside the body towards mountain pose. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. Feel again that quality of expansion in your body. How does that feel for you? How does that change your posture? How does that change your position in your body? What shifts for you? Begin to take the hands and reach them all the way up. As you do, join the palms together, keep the palms above the head, and then reaching up with the hands, lengthen the tailbone. Maybe take the gaze up towards the hands as we open through the body. From here, begin to fold your way forward. We'll begin to take a half lift in, and as you do, take the arms out to the sides, the palms are facing down. And then slowly lowering down. Let's take two more like that. So you're inhaling to lift and extend. Exhaling to lower. Finding one more flow. And then lowering down. From here, we're going to step the right foot back and come into a low crescent lunge. You can soften through the shoulders. A little bit of lengthening of the tailbone here as well to help support your body. And then taking the palms together and down towards the heart space. As we come into this next little flow, be mindful of your front knee diving in. It'll like to sort of pull in. We want to keep it tracking on top of the ankle. So from here, we're going to open out towards the right side and then back in towards the heart. So just opening towards the right side here, inhaling, feeling almost like you're inhaling from fingertip to fingertip and then exhaling back in. Let's take a few more like that. Breathing from one hand to the other. We'll take one more here. Bringing the hands all the way back towards your heart space. From here, bring your right hand down onto the mat and extend up with that left hand. Heel up into the tips of the fingers here. Remembering that option to place the left hand onto the hip and open through the ribs if that feels safer in your body. And as we hold here just for a few more moments, rather than feeling heavy, can you feel lifting up? Can you embody that quality of expansion even here in the heaviness? Let's take that top hand down. Both hands come on the inside of the leg. Bring your front foot around to meet the back. Keeping our hands under our shoulders, or extended forward, should I say rather. Let's come back towards a child's pose. I'm going to start to take that little flow that we were doing before. So from child's pose, we're tucking the toes and coming up towards a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're lowering the knees and coming towards cow pose. From cow pose, we're heading into child's pose. From child's pose, it's downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we lower the knees and come towards cow pose. Remember here, if downward facing dog isn't in your practice this morning, you can simply move between child's pose and cow pose. take one more flow like this, ladies. And then finishing in your child's pose one more time. As you come towards your child's pose, you can place your hands wherever it feels most supportive for you, whether that's your arms extended forward or running alongside of your body. Reminding yourself again of your mantra, I am expansive. I am expansive. From here, we're going to tuck the toes and extend the hands forward, come towards a downward facing dog. For a moment, as you hold here, feel grounded in the hands, but at the same time, feel a rebound of energy. So it's like a lifting out of your body here towards the sky. And then let's begin to take the feet and walk them forward towards the hands at the top of your mat. As we begin to come up through a spinal roll, you can again brush the hands along the legs, circling the arms all the way up. Join your palms and bring them down towards your heart space. So from here this morning, we're going to find a balance pose on each side. There's going to be lots of options for the balance. So we'll start with the first option, then I'll show you through as we balance. You can add on or you can just stay put in one of the options. So I'm going to leave it completely up to you. Often in our balance poses, we feel heavy in our body because there's this fear of falling or losing our balance. So we get quite heavy to try and bring that center of gravity lower, I guess. So I'm going to invite you this morning, even though we want to get grounded in our feet, at the same time to still feel really light in your body. So it's sort of a lifting up. And there's that rebound of energy. So even though you're grounded, we're still lifting and becoming light in the body. But most importantly, I think it's really good to find the light of heart here too. So if you get a little wobbly, rather than getting frustrated, maybe, just have a little bit of fun with it. So we're going to start this morning. You can move around your space near a wall if you need to, or some furniture for support. I'm going to keep the right foot down onto the mat, and really pressing that right foot down will draw the hip in and start to lengthen. So even straight away, we're becoming more expansive, more lighter by lifting up. With this left leg, without putting your hands on your leg, let's lift the knee in towards the chest. So we want to get the muscle energy working to lift rather than our hands holding our leg up. From here, we're going to take our right hand and bring it onto the left knee. So now you can get a little bit of support, but we still want to use the energy in that leg to lift here. This might be more than enough for you today. Otherwise, you can start to extend your left hand forward. The thumb will face up. And then start to open maybe that left hand out to the side, the left arm. And then maybe from there, you're taking the left arm all the way behind you, And if you're feeling super balanced this morning, maybe the gaze starts to turn to that left thumb behind you. And again, we want to feel light here. Notice that there's a tendency to weigh down. Can you lift and feel light? Remember that quality of expansiveness. And then as we come out of the pose, can we do that like an unraveling rather than just a release? Of course, if you get the wobbles like I did and you just release, that's okay as well. You might like to give the legs a little bit of a shake. shake before we come to the other side, a little bit of a wobble. Okay, so let's move to the other side. You might find this side a little easier, it might be a little more difficult, that's perfectly okay. We're going to press down into that left foot. So let's get grounded first, and then bring that left hip in and up. So we're going to lift up out of our bodies. Without using the hands, we're going to lift that right leg up. So the knees coming in towards the chest. Beautiful. You can use your left hand now and hold on to that right knee. Maybe you're taking your right hand forward. Let's take it so the thumb is facing up. Maybe this is where you're pausing. Maybe you're taking the arm and starting to extend out to the side and then out behind you. From here, you might be staying just as you are. Maybe you're turning the gaze towards that right thumb behind you. And then wherever you're pausing, we want to feel light, expansive, not heavy. Bringing in that quality. And then again, there's an unraveling rather than the release. When the feet come down, you can give your legs a little shake again, a little release. Beautiful. We'll come back to the top of our mats, ladies. Yeah, beautiful. From here, we'll circle the arms all the way up. As you bring the palms together, keep them overhead and then reach up towards the sky and lengthen your tailbone here. Maybe take the gaze as you lift up, extending the gaze all the way up for a moment. And then begin to fold your way forward. We'll find those three half lifts. So we're coming towards a half lift. Extend the arms out to the sides. And then lowering down. Let's find two more, coming towards a half lift. And then lowering down. Inhaling to half lift. And then lowering down. From here, we'll step the left foot back and come into a low crescent lunge on the other side now. Let your shoulders soften a little. Remember, cactus arms is an option here as well. Lengthen the tailbone just a little here as well. And then bring your hands towards your heart space. As we begin to come into our flow and open to the left side of our body, keep your right knee tracking on top of your ankle once more. So we'll inhale to extend and open to the left. And then exhale to come back in. Just begin to find your flow in a pace that's really lovely for you this morning. We'll take one more flow here. Bringing the hands all the way back towards your heart. We'll now take the left hand down onto the mat and extend up with that right hand. And again, as we hold here for a few moments, you have that option to place your hand onto the right hip if that feels safer in your body. And can you feel a lifting up rather than a heaviness here, a lifting up? We'll take the top hand down. Both hands are on the inside of the leg. Bring your front foot around to meet the back. And let's find a child's pose. Let the hips sink towards your heels. You're welcome to widen the knees if that feels more comfortable. Maybe taking your hands under your forehead. And for a few moments, finding the stillness, finding your breath. here, we are going to move over onto our backs. We're not quite coming into Shavasana, we're close, but not quite there. So we'll come all the way down onto our backs. Keep a bend to the knees. We'll take the arms out to the sides, bring the palms to face up, and we'll take a few windscreen wipers just to begin with again. So allowing your knees to gently fall from one side and over to the other. And then we'll bring the knees back towards centre. We'll take the right leg and cross it over the left leg into a figure 4 shape. And we'll find a threading the needle pose. So we're going to bring the hands behind the left thigh and draw the legs in towards yourself. Softening the shoulders and feeling into a nice stretch into that right hip and glute. Finding a soft and slow breath. And then we'll release the hands, keep the legs in this figure 4 shape, take the arms out to the sides again. Let's bring the legs over to the right side of the body. So we're getting a deeper stretch now through that left hip. This feels a little too much this morning. You can bring that right foot down onto the mat and come towards a windscreen wiper hold. You might like to turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees, towards the left side. And even here in this state of stillness, of hold, inviting in that quality of expansion. I am expansive. I am expansive. Let's begin to turn the head back and bring the knees back. We'll uncross the legs and then now bring the left foot across the right thigh as we come into that figure 4 shape, and then bring the hands behind your right leg, drawing your legs in towards yourself. It's getting a nice stretch now for the left hip and the left glute. Notice where you can release some effort or soften your body. And then begin to release your hands. Again, your legs are staying in this figure 4 shape. You're taking your arms out to the sides. And then the legs are heading over to the left side of your body. You might like to turn your head towards the right side. Remembering that if this feels a little too intense, you can take your left foot and bring it down onto the mat so you're coming towards a windscreen wiper hold instead. And then slowly bringing your legs back through to centre, turning your head back. You can uncross the legs and take the knees in and maybe do a little bit of rocking or some circles here with your knees, whatever feels really nourishing for the back of your body. From here, we are going to move towards Shavasana. So you can take a few moments. You might like to bring in a bolster behind the thighs or knees, or a pillow, a folded blanket or something. If you're using an eye pillow, you might like to bring that into your practice. And feel free to put any sort of music on that you might like as well. As you come all the way down onto your backs, giving yourself that time and space that you need to feel really comfortable. Any support that you might need. And again, as you start to support your body and begin to feel still and comfortable, any last little adjustments, even the smallest little adjustments that you could possibly make to continue to invite in this state of expansion, this feeling of expansiveness. It might even be a little movement of your shoulders or your hips, a softening of your face, your hands, your feet. And as you come towards this state of stillness, this quality once more of expansion in your body, at the end of your practice now, as we move into Shavasana, what does the word expansive mean for you? We've spent the last hour exploring what this feels like in our practice, in our yoga practice, in our body, in our mind, in our state of being. How does it feel for you right in this moment? Expansive may be something that you're really enjoying. And perhaps today this state of expansion is not what you're needing as well, but it's fun to sort of explore different qualities and what they feel like in our bodies. Not just what they are and the meanings of them in our minds, but what those qualities feel like in our bodies. What those states feel like in our bodies. You may like to, again, bring an awareness to the rise and the fall of your breath. Finding the quality of expansion in the present moment with the connection to your breath. If you find yourself drifting elsewhere, perhaps you can continue to return to your breath as it carries and guides you into your Shavasana practice. slowly coming back into your physical bodies. You can keep the eyes closed as you begin to notice different feelings and sensations throughout your body. And then with closed eyes, you can begin to invite in some movement, whatever that might be for you. You might simply begin by brushing the thumb across the tips of the fingers or wiggling your toes. Perhaps your body's calling for a nice stretch or a draw in of your knees. And then with closed eyes, making your way to your preferred side of your body and take a pause there. And for one last moment, repeating your mantra, I am expansive. At this time, as you repeat your mantra, feel it in every cell and every fibre. Feel it expanding throughout the whole state of your being. I am expansive. Perhaps this is a quality that you would like to embody in some way throughout your day today, some capacity throughout your day today. Now letting your hands guide you up towards a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like for you. Feel free to sit into a chair, have the legs extended forward, use a cushion. We'll seal our practice together today by circling the arms all the way up. Joining the palms as you exhale them down towards your heart space, allowing them to rest here. Softly bowing your head towards your heart and your hands as you take a moment to honour yourself and your practice of yoga. It is with deep gratitude that I thank each of you for sharing your space and this practice with me this morning. Remembering that the divine light in me recognises and honours the divine light in each of you. Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti. May all beings find peace. Namaste.